conversation. Now welcoming in the four-time All-Star, the current Memphis Tigers head coach, Penny Hardaway, fresh on the golf course. Thanks so much for taking the time.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Penny, I got to ask you before we dive into the basketball, what's the handicap looking like since you're out there enjoying the lush greens?
My handicap is finally at a 1. I need to get it to 0, though.
It's at a 1. The entire control room right now is getting in my ear telling me how impressive that is that it's at a 1. If you're getting it to a 0, you're not giving anybody any chance.
No, I'm not trying to. That's the point.
See, and that is the mentality. And that's the mentality that you had on that 1996 team that won gold. It was 30 years ago. When you think back to that group, Penny, what's the memory that stands out?
Yeah, for me, it was about sacrifice. You showed Charles Barkley, who averaged 28 points a game in the regular season in the NBA, averaging 12 points and leading us in scoring. Think about that. All these Hall of Famers, all these top scorers. David Robinson probably led the league in scoring that year, and Charles led us with 12 points per game. So it was about sacrifice and domination with us.
So if you're thinking back to maybe the scene that would lead the documentary, if and when there's one that's made about the 1996 team, what's the scene that's going to open up, that's going to set the stage for everything?
You know, it's us finally getting to Atlanta and being so locked in. I mean, there was no playing around. We understood that we needed to win every game by 30 points. So getting off that plane and getting into Atlanta and everybody's seriousness, it wasn't a time to mess around or play around. We understood the task at hand. And if you open up the documentary, it's us landing in Atlanta ready to take care of business. You
took care of business, but there was also a bunch of trash talkers on that team. Of course, I'm thinking about Chuck. I'm thinking about Gary Payton, the rest of the crew. Who was the best?
Well, GP is the best at it. You know, that's my dog right there. You know, GP got added later. Don't know why he should have been on there from the very beginning, but Glenn Big Dog Robinson had declined to play, and we added Gary Payton, which really made it to where our defense was so stellar, where the other team couldn't get above 80 points because, you know, it started with me, him, and John Stockton. But, you know, to have the glove on the team and have Scottie Pippen on the team, guys that are defensive minded, and to have the Admiral and those guys behind you and Shaq at the rim was cool.
I love listening to the stories of these teams that were sort of the beginning, right, for me. When you think back, you've said that you think that this is the second best Team USA that's ever been put together for the men. Do you still feel that way?
I do feel that way. I'm not trying to disrespect D-Wade, LeBron, KD, and Kobe and those guys. I have to feel that way. I feel like our team was well-rounded, and we had an opportunity to do something special. And I do know the magnitude of having LeBron and D-Wade and those guys. So I still feel like we're the second best team behind the original Dream Team.
All right. I mean, when I'm thinking of the power rankings, you guys got a real case here, but we're already looking ahead. We talk a lot about this show because it's right here in Los Angeles, about the 2028 Olympic team and whether or not the world, frankly, has caught up, the talent around the world. Do you think when you're looking at 2028, you believe in America still that we're going to win the gold medal once again on the men's side?
I still believe 100%, but the world has definitely caught up.
Yeah.
You know, back when in 96, the world had not caught up to us. Now, you know, watching these guys dominate the league, their confidence is really high, and they feel like they can beat us. And if it weren't for an unbelievable Steph Curry showing, which he always shows up, and rallying us, you know, it could have been the other way. But thank God for those guys, and I'm still riding with the USA no matter what.
Is a champion. And Karl-Anthony Towns, in my opinion, is still the most important player on the Knicks. That don't mean that he's the best player. He's the most important player. We saw that what he did in the NBA Finals, being able to neutralize Victor Wembanyama when we thought that it was no big that was going to be able to match that intensity. And so if I'm Karl-Anthony,
Let me ask you this then. If you're Karl-Anthony Towns, because what you're saying is correct, do you feel pressure to take less money?
Well, I know what I am doing, Malika. I'm pocket watching. And seeing what other guys around the league got. Trae Young got $212 million. Austin Reeves just got $180 million. Karl-Anthony Towns is a champion. Now, he shouldn't take less than what those two guys got. Now, should he, sacrifice a little bit? Maybe so, but not much. I'm always an advocate. I'm always going to be a big advocate for guys, especially players, to get as much money as you possibly can. He delivered a championship. He did it in great fashion. That man deserves his lettuce.
Eagles are hyped. Perk for LeBron. He has a 2-year deal in Philadelphia. I have to learn to say that better. 2-year deal in Philadelphia. Do you think that in those 2 years he's going to bring another title to the city of brotherly love?
I do, Malika. I do, because they are a team that's ready to win right now. They're a team that's desperate. It's a team that's playing that has a lot of guys that are playing with chips on their shoulders. And so when you think about Jaylen Brown and you think about what he's going to do this year, like Tyrese Maxey is ready to be that guy, right? Tyrese Maxey is ready to have his name mentioned as one of the best point guards in the game. They have a championship coach in Nick Nurse, and Rich Paul said it best. Like, Philadelphia is going to give LeBron James new life. Being in the locker room with Tyrese Maxey is going to bring him new energy, and that energy is going to carry on to the basketball floor. I believe he's going to win a championship in the next 2 years with this team.
What's the reaction to the state of the Warriors, where they currently are?
That Steph needs to be planning his exit strategy from the Golden State Warriors.
Stop it.
No, I'm saying not this year. Not this year, but think about it, Malika. Over the last 4 years, the Warriors have been in the play-in tournament. And guess what? This year, the way that the West is stacked up, they're going to be a play-in tournament team again. And so if you're Steph Curry going on the age of 39 and you look at this roster knowing that you have 4 NBA championships and know what a championship roster look like, you can't waste any more time hoping and banking that Mike Dunleavy is going to get it right or make the moves that's needed to make sure that you're able to compete for a title, especially in a tough Western Conference. I want Steph Curry to retire in a Warrior uniform, but I also want to watch Steph Curry play meaningful basketball. I want Steph Curry to be playing when it matters the most. And with this roster and what they have, he's not going to be there anytime soon.
Perk, when you're looking at that fact, you've played in the NBA, you've analyzed it for many years. I've never seen something quite like this. How could this process, then the way it plays out, maybe shape the way that this season starts?
Well, look, let me say this. If I'm the Toronto Raptors, I'm finding a way to get up out of this deal. I'm finding a way to back out. I want out. I don't want to even be involved with this no more. I don't even want to think about having Kawhi Leonard in a uniform, because now all of a sudden, say if this lingers on and they get closer to the season, and I understand Rich Paul is talking about Brandon Ingram understands it's a business, but we're talking about real human beings here. We're talking about Brandon Ingram and Grady Dick, who was a crucial part of the Raptors' success last year as far as them being relevant again and making it to the postseason. If I'm the Raptors, I want to call this trade off. I want to call my 2 key rotation guys back in, and I want to start healing those wounds right now so that when I get to training camp, I don't have to deal with that. I don't have to worry about if a guy's going to be disgruntled. We saw the effect when it happened to Dalton Connect with the Los Angeles Lakers. Yeah. He wasn't right when he hasn't been right since.
I want to start with you, Baxter, here, because you have some lengthy new reporting on up to the minute what is happening with this investigation. So let's just start there with the timeline. How much longer could this continue on? Well,
it could go well into 2027. And part of that is because if you look at the collective bargaining agreement, it basically lays out the process for this, which could include arbitration. It could also include an appeals panel. There's several different parties that are coming to the table. It's not as simple as the NBA basically finding evidence and rendering punishment or not. There's a lot of different steps that have to play out from here and there, or from now until then. And different sources I've talked to have said, given all those steps, they have a hard time seeing a full resolution being reached before the start of the season. Okay, so if full resolution, Ramona, is not reached before the start of the season and could continue into next calendar year, does that open up the possibility that Kawhi Leonard could be on the Clippers to start the season?
Yes. I mean, it sounds crazy after a trade like this, but this was the Toronto Raptors being given a choice of, are you willing to assume the risks of something happening with Kawhi Leonard after the investigation is completed? And they are not willing to assume those risks. And so if they're not, then we get to the end of the summer and there's not a resolution here, and there's nobody from the NBA who could say with 100% certainty that there won't be any fallout for Kawhi Leonard specifically. Then it's up to the Raptors. And I understand that, because we just saw what happened with the Miami Heat and Terry Rozier. The NBA had an investigation. A couple of people pointed me to this very specifically. They had an investigation into Rozier. They didn't find anything. And then a year later, after the Heat had traded for him, they get stuck with a player who's now out of the league. And they had given up draft compensation and settled that out of court. So I can see a world in which Kawhi Leonard is back on the Clippers if this trade doesn't go through. And the Clippers, quite frankly, are fine with that. Now, they did the trade. They like Brandon Ingram, but they like Kawhi Leonard too. This only happened because they weren't really willing to extend him.